Australia, the lucky country. For decades, this phrase was the ultimate gold standard for anyone chasing high wages, eternal summer, and that legendary laid-back lifestyle. But as we move through February 2026, the luck has officially run out for thousands of people. While global tourism ads are still pushing postcards of the Great Barrier Reef and the luxury vibes of Sydney Harbour, a much darker reality is unfolding behind the scenes. Record numbers of expats and even born and raised Australians are doing something that seemed unthinkable just 3 years ago. They are packing their bags and leaving for good. You've probably heard about the massive salaries in Sydney or Melbourne, but nobody talks about the sun tax, that invisible drain that's quietly emptying the bank accounts of even the most successful professionals. Today, we're stripping away the postcards to show you the brutal economic reality of living in Australia in 2026. If you're planning a move, or if you're already here and feeling the squeeze, you need to watch this until the end before you make a move that could cost you your entire future. Let's get into the numbers. The biggest driver of this great Australian exit is a housing market that has shifted from expensive to straight-up predatory. Between late 2023 and early 2026, Australia's rental market hit a breaking point that has basically redefined what it means to be middle class. In cities like Brisbane, Perth, and Adelaide, vacancy rates have been stuck near a terrifying 1% for 3 straight years. This has created a toxic culture of rental bidding wars, where families are forced to offer 6 months of rent up front or bid $800 over the asking price just to be considered. A basic one-bedroom apartment in Sydney that cost maybe $500 a week back in 2023 is now regularly clearing $800 in 2026. And it's not just a city problem, it's spread to the suburbs, where the mortgage squeeze is even tighter. Interest rates stayed higher for much longer than the experts predicted in 2024. And now, in 2026, we're seeing a massive wave of forced sales. People who bought their first homes at the peak of the market are realizing they can't service loans that were supposed to be their ticket to stability. When you're spending over 40% of your take-home pay just to keep a roof over your head, that laid-back lifestyle becomes a total myth. But it's not just the rent that's killing the dream. It's the sheer cost of existing on this island. Australia has what I call a hidden logistics tax on everything you touch. From 2023 to 2026, grocery inflation in Australia outpaced almost every other developed nation because the supply chains here are so vulnerable to extreme weather and rising fuel costs. Electricity and gas prices jumped nearly 45% in some states over the last 3 years, making it a luxury just to keep your house cool during these brutal 2026 summer heat waves. Because Australia is so geographically isolated, everything from car parts to iPhones comes with a premium. Even booking a flight to visit family in Europe or North America has climbed 30% since 2023. In 2026, you might earn a high salary on paper, but after you pay the island tax on food, fuel, and power, you realize you have way less disposable income than someone living in a much cheaper U.S. state like Texas or Florida. For the high achievers and ambitious pros, the problem goes even deeper. It's the career ceiling. While the U.S. tech and AI sectors have seen explosive growth and massive salary hikes in 2026, Australian wages in high-skill sectors have stayed pretty much stagnant in comparison. Australia's tax system is designed to lift the bottom, which is great for social equality, but it effectively punishes anyone trying to build real, significant wealth. The progressive tax brackets mean that as soon as you start earning what looks like good money, the government takes a huge cut to fund a social net that's increasingly strained. If you're a motion designer, an AI automation specialist, or a dev, the Australian market is a tiny pond. There are only a few big players, and once you hit the top of a local firm, there's nowhere left to go but out. In 2026, the data is clear. A skilled migrant can build wealth twice as fast in a low-tax U.S. state than they can in any Australian city. Even the famous Australian healthcare system is facing a massive reality check in 2026. Despite all the connected care reforms aimed at cutting down wait times, the system is still struggling with a huge workforce shortage. This makes the US private system look a lot more attractive to anyone who can afford premium insurance and doesn't want to wait months to see a specialist. Look, Australia is still a safe, beautiful sanctuary with clean air and insane nature. But the Australian dream of a standalone house with a backyard and a stress-free life is becoming an elite-only club in 2026. If you're a business owner or a professional looking to maximize your reload profit, you have to ask yourself, is the lifestyle worth the financial stagnation? The numbers don't lie. Australia is a world-class place to retire if you already have money. But it's becoming one of the hardest places on Earth to actually make it from scratch.